What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP, back again with another video, and today, whoo, man, I have this is quite possibly the phone with the best retail presentation I have ever seen. And I stress retail presentation because a lot of times reviewers get, like, when reviewers are, when they get a phone and, and they're reviewing it, like, for example, before it's out, before it hits retail, their box sometimes to certain phones, are a lot different than what is actually released to retail. They'll be in big boxes like this, the review kits. But when the phone is actually released to the consumer, you get, that kind of box, which there's nothing wrong with that. And of course, like brands like Blue does, a lot of times, well, not just Blue, but, well, yeah, I say that because you not only get a clear, or TPU style case, they're not always clear, but you also get your, you also get a screen protector. And, a lot of manufacturers like Xiaomi, for example, several manufacturers include a case, but very few, if none at all, besides Blue, will include, a screen protector too. But this is the Infinix GT10 Pro. This is a phone that is exclusively sold in India, but it works perfectly in the US. I've tested it more on T-Mobile than I have AT&T. I actually switched my main service to T-Mobile a couple months ago, back in June, I think. So instead of, a lot of my older videos where I said I tested it extensively with AT&T and a little on T-Mobile, you're going to notice now that I am testing phones more extensively on T-Mobile and just a little on AT&T now. But as far as T-Mobile goes and AT&T, this phone, that the 5G works wonderfully everywhere I've gone. It even gets 5G plus on both of them, more so T-Mobile than AT&T. It actually displays 5G plus, but I think with T-Mobile that would be 5G UC. If this was a T-Mobile branded phone, it would say 5G UC for ultra capacity, if I'm not mistaken. But being that it's not a T-Mobile branded phone or a phone with a T-Mobile ROM, because phones like some of your Motorola phones, even though they don't come from T-Mobile, when you put a T-Mobile SIM in them, they kind of like switch to a altered interface, so to speak, or an altered. It kind of like puts the T-Mobile apps on there. It even has a T-Mobile, a splash screen. I have a T-Mobile Motorola Razr Plus that I haven't done a video to yet. I've had it since it came out, and I do plan to do a video on it. And if I put a Metro by T-Mobile SIM in the Razr Plus, it'll actually show a Metro splash screen when I'm rebooting the phone. But nonetheless, 5G works great. VoLTE, Voice over LTE, works great. It even gets LTE and LTE Plus for the areas that doesn't get 5G. Everything works on this phone. Everything, just like it was a phone in the US. I'm actually right now using a Redmi K60 Ultra, and this phone gets 5G in a couple more spots where the Redmi doesn't. But that also gets 5G and 5G plus, and if it's not, like at my job, it'll get LTE plus. But that's for another video, which I also have coming up. But this phone is, this unboxing is massive on this phone right here. Again, you get your case. Don't mind the fingerprints there. Excuse that there. Y'all didn't wipe it down properly there. We're trying to see if that looks any better there. But you get your. It already has a pre-applied screen protector, a film, but it also has a glass one included. There's your little manuals, your reading material, I meant to say. That box actually houses this, which doubles as a speaker box. Those are the directions for it. Obviously, you get your fast charger right there, your 45 watt with your nice orange cable. The orange cable also has the USB Type-C connector is turned. I think you would call that at 90 degrees. I could be wrong. Y'all correct me in the comments. You know, so it makes it easier to game on the phone while it's plugged in. It also has charge separation. This is actually a gaming phone, like a Red Magic phone, just not quite as powerful. And I'll get to that in a second too. You get stickers with it, which is really cool. That big box also houses this box. And those are gaming triggers that fit on the side of the phone. And that's just a little case phone, a little carbon fiber case. There's nothing inside. That's just how it comes in the box of presentation. But you put those triggers inside that box to carry them around, you know, for portability. And of course, this is the sticker or the little sleeve that the phone comes in. The Dimensity 8050. And I'll try to touch on that in a minute here too. But basically in English, as my buddy Flossie would say, or my boy. I mean, I don't know him personally. I say that like I do. I wish I did. But the 8050 is upper mid-range specs. Upper mid-range specs. And the price, it really can't be beat, honestly. It does have a full HD plus, 120 hertz refresh, 10-bit AMOLED display, in-display fingerprint sensor. It has 8 gigs of built-in RAM, and then 8 gigs of virtual RAM, so 16 gigs altogether, if that's your thing, if you believe in that. And then, of course, it has a 108 megapixel triple camera system on the back, which I'll show y'all shortly, and a 32 megapixel selfie camera, which actually works really well. Again, that is an OLED screen too, so I mean, it's great. The punch hole is very minimalistic. It doesn't have that little silver rim around it like some of your Xiaomi phones had that they've actually gotten better about, as I've mentioned in other videos. So let me not be too hard on them about that. I want to pull up the actual camera specs to be more specific. I'm trying to get better about that. So just kind of bear with me. But yes, it is a, let's see. Oh, yeah, I got to get that back, too. These right here are LEDs right here, like what a lot of your gaming phones have. The back is semi-clear, and it changes colors even. It's not as pronounced as some of the advertisements of this phone will make you believe, but it's still really neat, honestly. I mean, this phone is, in my opinion, I like this design more than the Nothing phone, if I'm, to be honest. And I had the Nothing phone 1 and 2, and this phone just... this design blows it out of the water. I mean, it doesn't light up as much as that does, so let me not go that far and say it blows it out of the water. But it's a badass design. I absolutely love this design. Man, this design to me is up there with the Red Magic 8S Pro. I love this design, and y'all know that I talked extensively about the 8S Pro's design. As as it was actually different from the already new standard Red Magic 8 Pro, design, or the Red Magic 8 Pro that came out earlier in the year, which already featured an all-new design, and then the 8S Pro came out, and they tweaked it. But when you get up close to it, it's I wouldn't necessarily say it's more than just a tweak, but it's noticeable, and it's subjective, but to me, I like it even more than I already liked the regular 8 Pro's design. It's just in that short amount of time, they just found a way to differentiate it even further, which I really liked. But this phone is right up there. I absolutely love that design. Like I said, it changes colors. You got those LEDs that are right next to the flash there. Don't mistake the whole back for lighting up, like the Nothing phone, but it does change colors, which is just really cool to see. I don't even have a way of even showing you that, or a way of it to, a way for it to pick up on the camera, honestly. But I mean, even the camera arrays are just really nicely placed. That flash is just sweet. I mean, it's very futuristic. And the name of this color is Mecha Silver, and it really has the mecha design. I mean, this phone blew me away, honestly. Very impressive phone. I mean, for what it is, it's pretty awesome, honestly. You do get that 108 megapixel with the f1.8 aperture. That's your main camera sensor. Then you get a 2 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth. It is a quad LED flash, and it does 4K video at 30 frames per sec and 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per sec. And of course, the selfie again is a 32 megapixel, and it can actually do video. It can actually do 1440p at 30 frames per sec, and then 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per sec. It does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It has stereo speakers that sound really good. It has USB Type-C, but it's just 2.0, so there's no connecting it to a monitor for big screen gaming like you can on the Red Magic phones. And to me, that's kind of a bummer, because to me that's kind of the part of being a gaming phone, in my opinion. But I mean, it is what it is. It does have an FM radio built in. It has a 5,000 milliamp battery. Some sites also call the Mecha Silver Mirage Silver. It's called in some places. I've seen it called both. I'm not sure why, because it only comes from one place in India, or one country. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's available. Well, actually, it might be available in the UK. So don't hold me to that only India thing. Yeah, as far as the processor, the MediaTek Dimensity 8050, which is a 6 nanometer process node, it has an awesome Mali G77 9-core GPU. It is a little big octa-core processor that's split off into 3 different, I forget what you call them. You know how you have your prime, gold, and silver is what Qualcomm calls it. That's not what MediaTek calls it. But you have one 3 gigahertz Cortex A78. You have 3 2.6 gigahertz Cortex A78s, and then you have 4 2 gigahertz Cortex A55s. It does have Infinix XOS 13 gaming UI on top of Android 13. It does have 256 gigs of internal storage, if I haven't already said that, UFS 3.1, and it does have an expandable memory slot, believe it or not. God, I just wish I wish more would bring that back. That's another reason why I love this phone so much. But yeah, the Antutu scores for this phone is over 700,000. I mean, it's the 8050. Let's see. I'm gonna try to think of the best way to explain this here. The best way for me to explain. Oh man, sorry for those fingerprints on that screen there too. Y'all didn't do a wipe down, obviously there, but it's yeah. Let me check the phone out right quick before I ramble. And I absolutely love that color there. It is a plastic frame, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't see any antenna line, so it's not metal. But it not only looks it, it feels it. It doesn't just This camera kind of it's I don't again, it's subjective, but don't let pictures fool you. This phone is not cheap looking, nor does it feel cheap, but it is lightweight, but not cheaply lightweight. I mean, it feels fantastic in the hand. It's very square off-ish, if that makes sense. The bezels are very symmetrical. It doesn't have a huge chin compared to the top. That they're symmetrical. I mean, it's great. I mean, I have had a blast with this phone. Let's see here. Just kind of going over everything here. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. But, yeah, I mean, this phone, I mean, it's great. I mean, I really can't say enough good things about it. the brightness gets really bright. I'm not even sure what the nits are actually. Well, I'm thinking about that. Oh, that's all. Let me look that up right quick, actually, because I do not know, to be exact. And a lot of times I do, but not all the time. It's a 900 nit peak brightness. I actually thought it was more than that. Believe it or not, that's kind of, it's kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. It is a 6.67 inch, so as a lot of your Xiaomi phones come, that's a standard size for them. I like to say 6.7 inches. Again, it is a 1080 full HD plus resolution by 2400 pixels. It's a 20:9 aspect ratio. But the if y'all remember, the Dimensity 8000 came out at the same time as the Dimensity 9000. The Dimensity 9000 last year was a direct competitor to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. And it did a fantastic job. It still does a fantastic job. The 9000 Plus came out to compete with the 8 Plus Gen 1 this year. You got the 9200 versus the 8 Gen 2. You got the 9200 Plus that's going up against the overclocked, the unofficial Plus of the 8 Gen 2, which the not only do the Galaxy S23 series of phones have, including the Z5 series, the Flip and the Fold, but the Red Magic 8S Pro has it, and I think the OnePlus Ace 2 Pro has it, which I have coming in hopefully tomorrow, but it might not be until Tuesday because Monday's a holiday. But nonetheless, the 8000, when it came out with the 9000 last year, it was touted as a competitor against the Snapdragon 888. And it was. I mean, it did a fantastic job. I had 8000 powered, 8000 Dimensity powered phones, and they were great. The phones, they were amazing, honestly. And this is the 8050, and it does great. I have been nothing but impressed out of it, honestly. Shoot, I mean, again, the Antutu benchmarks kind of speak for themselves at, again, at over 700,000. But, yeah, I keep stuttering here. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just blown away with this phone. I'm blown away with the performance to spec to price ratio. This phone costs about $350. You'll see it advertised as actually being sold in India for $250, but you're gonna spend $320 to $350 to actually get it in the US. But it's worth that. It is thoroughly worth that. You're not gonna find a phone that performs as good as this at that price point. You're gonna have to spend another $100 to get a phone that performs this good. I mean, the only phones that really come to mind would be like the Pixel 7a, the Moto G Stylus 5G 2023 with the Snapdragon 6 Gen 1. I mean, because the OnePlus Nord in what is that? The OnePlus Nord N30, fantastic phone, but benchmark to benchmark, it's not going to compete with this phone. The cameras are really decent on this. There's a lot of reviews on the cameras, and they're more positive than negative, a lot more positive. Of course, you still get what you pay for. So, a lot of times, as I've talked about before, cameras seem to be more expensive than the processors that power these phones, that power those cameras. So, the better camera systems generally are going to raise the price a lot further. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this is the Infinix GT10 Pro, and man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is a huge unboxing. I mean, I couldn't have. I may have been able to cut this video 5 minutes shorter than it is just from my rambling, and I'm sorry about that, y'all. Sorry for the stuttering there. Like I said, I just couldn't I just couldn't say enough good things about it. I have been really impressed with this phone. I've really enjoyed it. Everything about it, the presentation, it's great. And that's probably the 10th time I've even said that. But anyways, y'all, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.